Hey guys, so shortly after I made that video about Concordia, I actually found out what calendar uses the year 3760. It's actually the Hebrew calendar. It's the epoch of the Hebrew calendar. Said, when is the epoch of the Hebrew calendar? Swedish sunset preceding October 7th, 3761 on the Julian. Which is the Gregorian equivalent would be October 7th, 3760. And on the Julian, it's October 7th, 3761 BCE. And that would be the 1 Tishrei AM 1. I don't know if I'm saying, I don't know how to say that. Tishrei, I don't know. But when I was reading this the first time, it wasn't October 7th. It was September 20th. I'm on Safari and I'm Googling this. When is the epoch of Hebrew calendar? So that is where 3760 comes from. Yeah, they're saying October 7th, not September 20th. Interesting. October 7th is significant. So does that mean that the war in Israel, I was about to say Ukraine, does that mean that the war in Israel started on New Year's Day? Hang on, what day was that? What day was October 7th, 2023? Saturday. No, it wasn't on New Year's. It was 22 days after New Year's. But I think in when in 2030 day is that on the Gregorian. It would be Monday, September 6th. Interesting. But that but I was getting September 20th. I don't know that September 20th. I know that it's Rosh Hashanah, but interesting. And I wrote on my notes here, because there is an alignment that happens with that. Oh, wait. What was it? I might have September 10th, 2029. Right, I know that. 10 days of repentance happens, and then 10 days later, you get September 21st. Right, that's the... See, that should be... See, that's the first day of the first month right there. And in Rosh Hashanah, sorry guys, I can't really spell Hashanah. Then where is that September 20th coming from? Now I'm confused. Because it does align if it was September 20th. When I googled this, I swear it said September 20th. And that's of 3,760 BCE, and then it aligned in 2030, where it reveals 3,760. So that's the mirror. It's exactly negative 3,760 back then is a mirror of 2030. Well, yeah, 2030. What am I saying? 2030. So it's the mirror. So the same days apart equal. They equate to each other. So I think that should be 30. Let's see what it says 30. I got on my notes that says 2029. But we gotta go through a leap. We gotta account for the lack of a leap year. So I don't think 2029 is a leap year. I'm really bad at doing that kind of stuff. I know it's every 4 years, but yeah, it's 262 days. Well, I've been to say, I got to say number 262. So that's 262 days. But then when we do April 14th to January 1st, it's also 262 days. So those days align. Now it says, that's interesting. Now it says it's 103. Wait, no. It says 260. Okay, it says 262. What is this? January is 103 days before April 14th. Right. Sorry guys, I just saw 103 days right there. I was like, that's not 103 days. However, this is. So we do another loop around with September 20th to January 1st, and that's 103 days. So that's where we get the calendar from. If you include January 1st in the count, that's 103 days total. Right, and that's how you align the two dates together. So we got April 14th to January 1st, 262 days. Then we got January 1st to September 20th, which is also 262 days. And then we got September 20th to January 1st, referencing September 20th that was going to January 1st before, is 103 days. And that's the alignment. Now, I'm going to show you something that's really interesting that happens in 2031. So we're going to do 103 days after April 14th. I'm just reading something. So it's July 26th of the same year, because you don't leap anything. It's just straight. 103 days after July 26th is November 6th. And November 6th, that's right. But then watch this. Now it's going to go to the next year. 103 days after November 6th is what? One or 2 days after November 6th is February 17th. Which, if you count the hemisphere differences, it would be... Is that counting from... Is it counting including November 6th? But if you do include November 6th, it becomes February 16th. It's interesting because at the time, it actually, interestingly enough, the way you play with the dates, that could be February 18th. And people would not argue with that, because people understanding is like, well, if it's 17th here, then it's 18th somewhere else. It depends on what perspective you're seeing that in. Are you seeing it from the Eastern perspective, which is plus 1 day, or are you seeing it from the Western hemisphere, which is the 17th? It's really how you see the dates. It's the same date, really. So that's what's in my notes. But it's interesting. But I don't know where that September 20th came from. I'm looking. I don't know where it's from. Because I did Google, I just can't find it here. Interesting. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I found the missing calendar that was used in the year 3760. It's the Hebrew calendar. And it just so happens that when you add those together, what's it, 5790 minus 2030, you get 3760. But then I added 5790 to 3760, you get 9550. So you're adding the differences to its own alignment to the Hebrew calendar. The current year of the calendar plus the epoch year of the calendar, which is actually the based on the Gregorian in reverse, because you're using BCE, and then you get 9,550. So, yeah, I found that very interesting. So I'll end it here, and we're going to do some math equations in the next video about this and what I found out. So I'll see you in the next one.